Hi, welcome to Life Change Ministry. Hi, my name is Susan Jackson, author and founder of Life Change. And I just wanted to come on real quickly and talk about something. I would like to talk about Riley Gaines. Now, this is an this happened back, I want to say, I think June of 2023. And I want to talk about Riley because I believe she has a lot to say. Now, it's written in the word that there will be it's written in Second Timothy 3:2. It says, "For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents. They'll be unthankful and unholy." Okay. And so uh they will be without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. And I say this because we are definitely living here in the last days. So I have a couple clips I'd like you to see rather quickly. Her interpretation of what is happening to her. Um, there is an article here. Let me pull up this article where it says here at the Washington Examiner, here online, it says Riley Gaines calls for separate locker room after seeing Leah Thomas's male genitalia. So apparently, this Leah Thomas, who is male, decided to join the women's swim team, and he did not beat her. They tied, but this really has there's a lot to this, and my question here as a minister of God, uh as a ministry leader, my question is, how in the world did we get here? I believe in the US. I believe in the US Constitution, and I am just appalled at those that are supposed to protect us from such things. I feel like we have been betrayed. And she says it very well. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play this clip for you so you can hear her interpretation of what happened. So, hold on just a moment. Let me pull this up for you.
But my feelings didn't matter. What mattered to the NCAA were the feelings of a biological male. In 1972, Congress enacted Title IX to end unjust sex discrimination in all aspects of education, including college athletics. But by allowing Thomas to displace female athletes in the pool and on the podium, the NCAA.
So basically, what she's saying here is that both of them tied, but they only had one. They only had one trophy, and so they chose to give it to Leah Thomas because they wanted to have him hold it up for media and for media purposes. And so she felt uh, she felt discriminated against because she wasn't transgender. She feels like the reason why they gave him the trophy while she had to go home with nothing was for publicity.
In the pool and on the podium, the NCAA intentionally and explicitly discriminated on the basis of sex. Although the NCAA claimed it acted in the name of inclusion, its policies in fact excluded female athletes, which are the very female athletes whom Title IX was passed to protect. But that is not all. In addition to being forced to give up our awards and our titles and our opportunities, the NCAA forced me and my female swimmers to share a locker room with Thomas, a 6'4", 22-year-old male equipped with and exposing male genitalia.
So now she's describing how she had to share a locker room with this male who is, saying that he is transgender, that he is female. And, she really goes in and really speaks about how she feels. It's always about, we don't want to step on anyone's toes, we don't want to offend anybody, when in reality we're offending the majority that are having to deal with these issues. So hold on real quickly and
And
we'll let her
exposing male
explain.
genitalia. Let me be clear about this. We were not forewarned we would be sharing a locker room. No one asked for our consent, and we did not give our consent. And I'll set the scene. A swimming locker room is not a place of modesty. You're undressing, you're fully exposed, and we were forced to take off our swimsuit in front of a man who was doing the exact same thing. If nothing else, I truly hope how you can see this as a violation of our right to privacy, and how some of us have felt uncomfortable, embarrassed, and even traumatized by this experience. I know that I don't speak for every single person who competed against Leah Thomas, but I know I speak for many because I saw the tears. I saw the tears from the 9th and 17th place finishers who missed out on being named an All-American by one place.
So here she's explaining, it's evident that, she felt uncomfortable because here is a man who is dressed as a woman and she is having to change with him in the same locker room. It's awkward. She doesn't like it. And for a lot of the other athletes, they don't like it either. It's as if everyone is having to bow down to this we don't want to offend anybody, and then the reality is there are a lot of good people who are becoming offended based on these rules and these laws that are being passed that are crippling us as Americans. And my heart just goes out to her because behind me it says train and sane and remain the same. I've always been fairly active. I've always played sports. In school I played sports, and but I didn't go all the way like she did. She's these kids are actually you know getting scholarships so that they can live comfortably in college, because the expenses of college that you have, if you're going to live in the dorm and all these things, these are extra uh, privileges that you receive from working hard. And instead of going out with your friends and having fun on weekends and doing all these things, you're in the pool swimming, training, lifting weights, doing what you have to do to achieve the goals that you want to accomplish. And then all of a sudden, wham, here is this problem. Now we have males that can dress up as women, and all of a sudden everyone has to bow down to them. And so I'm going to go ahead and let her talk a little bit more about what happened so you
Anger
can get a
and
little bit.
frustration from these girls who, just like myself, had worked our entire lives to get to this meet. And I can attest to the fact that around the country, these female athletes who opposed the inclusion of Leah Thomas in the women's divisions were threatened, intimidated, and emotionally blackmailed into silence and submission. But unfortunately, our experiences are not unique.
So the women were blackmailed, and she's saying these things. They were blackmailed to keep their mouths shut and to not say anything. And so, how does this pertain to the last days? Well, you know what? The prophet Isaiah prophesied these things long before, what has happened in the past has a tendency to happen again. And the scripture that's coming to me is Isaiah 5, when Isaiah gives the woes. And he says, woe to those who take a bribe. There's like, excuse me, 5 woes in the book of, there's several woes, but there's 5 alone in chapter 5. So if you want to go with me rather quickly, let's go to the book of Isaiah, Isaiah 5. And it says, woof, um, here's a woe. It says, woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there is no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. Okay, there's one. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink and continue until night, to wine and flame them. Still looking here. Hold on. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity and sin as it were with a cart rope. Okay. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Okay. And so this is, and it goes on, it says that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And then he goes on in 21, Isaiah 5:21, he says, woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. 22, woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink. Which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteous of the righteous from him. Okay. But the one that really stands out to me is Isaiah 5:20, where it says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So can we say that this is a root of bitterness? Everyone is going along with this stuff. And here are, you know, our American children, our American athletes, okay, who have been training for several years, who have been working hard to get where they are, and they're having to bow down to this system, okay, which completely, it just, and I'm not, if you want to be transgender, shouldn't I believe the NCAA should have their own, if it, instead of including them in with those who are biologically claiming to be male and female, transgender should have their own athletics. They should have their own athletics. They should have their own money. They should raise their own money and their own funds to bring about their own athletic competitions. Um, I mean, why wouldn't they do it that way? But here we
But
go.
unfortunately, our experiences are not unique. The number of female athletes who have been denied opportunities, traumatized, or hurt by policies that claim to promote inclusion is growing at an alarming rate. I hear these female athletes and their parents. I hear from these people who are seriously injured, one with permanent injuries that will plague the rest of her life because she was forced to compete against a much physically stronger man. This is unacceptable, and the integrity of women's sports is lost. It's unfair, it's discriminatory, and it must stop. Women's rights to privacy, single-sex spaces, and opportunities are being encroached on. Sports, sororities, locker rooms, dorm rooms, shelters, prisons. Some have tried to tar those of us.
Then she goes on to talk about prisons too. Everyone is having to bow down to this. And we even have men, transgender men, who are in women prisons. And don't we can even pull up articles of some of these men actually getting women pregnant within the prisons. This is crazy. These are things that are unheard of, that are being pushed and forced down everyone's throat. um so
Some have tried to tar those of us speaking up for women's safety, security, and opportunities as transphobic or bigoted, and this is untrue. I've heard from people within this community, gay, lesbian, and trans-identifying Americans, that agree females should not be asked to step aside and make room for male-bodied individuals no matter how they identify. Defending women's rights is not anti-anyone. Believing in biology is not bigoted. And following...
Did she just say believing in biology is not bigoted? You go, girl. Man, I just want to stand behind her 100%, because this is how, we know that we're coming up into the last days. What is good? Woe to those who claim that what is good is evil and what is evil is good. They're trying to say that you're a bigot if you disagree. And on the contrary, right? Check it out.
Bigoted. And following the science that there are only two sexes and that there are very real and important differences between the two sexes is not hateful, it's fact. I'll end with a quote very briefly from tennis legend Martina Navratilova. There will always be significant numbers of boys and men who would beat the best girls and women in head-to-head competition. Claims to the contrary are simply a denial of science. I thank you guys for listening, and I truly hope you heard my story.
Thank you, Ms. Gaines.
And you were still very appropriately really shocked and surprised that this even happened without your notice, without your consent, without the coaches being aware, and you considered it to be an assault. I'm going to use those terms, that you were faced with a male in a locker room, and it is true that I think that there should have been some understanding that they were going to take advantage of you and the things that were of norm.
So here, the speaker is asking her to once again give her interpretation, to give her perspective, her view of what it is that is actually, what is happening, not from the transgender's point of view, but from the biological female's point of view. And this is just really good. I encourage you to listen to this. In closing, this is her final statement, um, rather quickly.
Clarify your ideas now about how you felt with this.
Just as you said, I do believe it was an assault, and to sum it up in words here, of course, undressing next to a male who's also undressed, of course, it's awkward, it's embarrassing, it's uncomfortable, but I believe the best words to describe this, of course, it's utter violation, it's betrayal by the people who were in place to protect us, at least supposed to protect us, and I believe the best word is traumatic, and not even necessarily traumatic because of what we were forced to see, or again, how we were forcibly exploited. It was traumatic to me and my teammates to know just how easy it was for those people in power who created these policies to totally dismiss our rights to privacy without even a second thought, without even bare minimum forewarning us.
So basically, she's saying that she feels that this is complete betrayal from those that have been put in leadership, that are imposing these things, that are doing these things to those who are supposed to be there to protect us. They are not protecting us. And I agree with her 100%. And, these are the last days, guys. I just wanted to rather quickly just come on and let you hear her story. It is an incredible one. And peace out. If you want to learn any more about the NCAA, everything is there for you. All you have to do is go to their webpage, and they will tell you all the things that they're doing with transgender in sports. And they are very high on uh, equity between, males and females. They're very clear about, trying to be equal with everyone. And so thank you so much for plugging into Life Change Ministry. If you like this, please share it. It helps the algorithms, it helps get me out there. And it helps people to see what is really going on, the times that we're living in. There's so many people that are asleep that just do not know that these things exist, that these stories exist, and they need to hear it. So, like, share. Thank you so much for plugging into Life Change Ministry. And I appreciate you. And peace out till we see each other again. Take care.